What's going on, guys? I am back here with a free pick video. It's a special occasion, UFC 300. I am on the penthouse level, 30th story of one of the MGM towers, and I'm just super excited. I'm gonna go through the fights top to bottom. I have a shitload of parlays. I put down pretty big money on these, 1,000 to win like 10,000 on a few of them on MGM, and then on DraftKings I had more money in that account. So I ran it up. My biggest risk was $5,000 on the main event. I took Wei Li and I took Pereira both to retain their belts. And honestly, with Wei Li, I'm a little more nervous about her, but I think Wei Li and Pereira will both win. Obviously, they're not huge favorites. Pereira is only like minus 135. Wei Li's a pretty big favorite. And I kind of have started to think about it. I'm like, man, I think Jan could be more of a 50-50 matchup. There might be value on Jan in that women's title fight. So I'm gonna start bottom to top, early prelims, and then main event. I just talked about the two main events, but the BMF title fight, really excited about that one. That's like the people's main event. That's the number one fight that we're all looking forward to. But let's get to the early prelims here. So we're starting off with Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt. Holy shit, man. I think Figueiredo will win, but personally, I've worked Cody Garbrandt into, I think one parlay I have him in. It's one of my bigger ones, risking $2,000 to win $30,000, I believe it was, on DraftKings. By the way, all of my bets I'm gonna post on Winnable, so you can subscribe to my free Winnable, and I'll post them there. There's just a shitload, too many to go over in the video, but I kind of know with each fight who I bet on. So I have Cody Garbrandt as the underdog to start us off. If he loses, not a huge deal. If he wins, I have a really good path to victory on that parlay. I had like Bo Nickel, Kayla Harrison with that too. So if Garbrandt wins, I'm gonna be off to a really good start. If he loses, no worries, we're not relying on that or anything. Bobby Green and Jim Miller, I personally have felt like Bobby Green's gonna win that fight, but my friends that I'm going to the event with, they're on Jim Miller. I think the whole fucking stadium's gonna be on Jim Miller. And honestly, the guy has won UFC 100, UFC 200, and this is kind of like his big moment. This will be where he basically puts his name in the history books. Like, it gives me chills just talking about it, because if he wins, it will be such a massive moment for him, and the whole stadium's gonna be behind him. He's gonna feed off that energy, and I think Jim Miller as an underdog is good value there. But I personally am not betting on that fight, but I'll be rooting for Jim Miller for my friends' parlays. Next up, Jalen Turner and Money Moicano. Moicano is up to 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. Fuck, dude. He learned English and he started grinding on YouTube. For that alone, I love the guy. But I saw him in Houston, and he was going up against Alexander Hernandez, who grew up in the same neighborhood that I grew up. So I was watching Alex Hernandez closely, and Moicano lost round one, turned it on round two. And I think this fight could go similar, where as they get into round two, round three, Moicano takes over. I think Moicano gets the finish in round three. Jalen Turner, I think he's just cutting too much weight. He's going all the way down to 155. He's 6'3". I think it's going to catch up to him in this fight. This is not an easy fight for Jalen Turner. And yeah, he knocked out, let me make sure I'm getting this right, but I think he knocked out Bobby Green recently. Yeah, he knocked out Bobby Green in round one. I just think Moicano's going to be a tougher fight for him. Next up, first women's fight. I'm taking Jessica Andrade. Honestly, it's a tough call here, but I have a lot riding on Jessica. I have two $1,000 parlays with her tied to it on the MGM app. So I'm rooting for her hard in that one. Prelims, I feel pretty confident about these. Sadiq Youssef and Diego Lopez is the one that I'd be the least confident in. I took Diego Lopez, then I'm taking Kayla Harrison. I just think Kayla Harrison was kind of getting bored in the PFL. She had a slip up recently, and I think she's focused on getting back on track. And I think just her collecting PFL championships, getting $1 million every year, she kind of got complacent. But now that she's in the UFC, she has something big to chase, which is that title. And once she gets the belt, getting pay-per-view points. And I think she has an opportunity to be one of the most entertaining female champions that we've really ever seen because of her willingness to kind of talk shit and bully the other women, which you saw a little bit in PFL. But Holly Holm is by far the best opponent that she's faced. So this is the highest level opponent she's faced. You know, we have exposure to Holly Holm at plus 340, but I also, me personally, I laid the fucking hammer on Kayla Harrison and Bo Nickel. And I have close to 100% confidence in Harrison and Nickel. But yeah, I mean, I can see where people are coming from if they're taking Holly Holm with a massive boost to their parlays when you're getting a plus 340 underdog. So I've got Diego Lopez, Kayla Harrison. I'm going with Aljamain Sterling. It's going to be a tough fight for him. Aljamain against the bantamweights, he's always so much bigger, and he's not going to have as big of a size advantage in this one. But I'm hoping that him not having to cut all that weight is going to give him a boost, and hopefully he can get on the back and get that rear naked choke locked in. But I got Aljamain in that one. And then Yuri Prochazka. I love Yuri. He's a small underdog, minus 105, so it's basically a pick 'em, but I love Yuri Prochazka. Last night, I crossed paths with this dude, and it was crazy to see him in real life because he's one of the guys in the UFC that is just a fucking psycho killer, man. He's one of the guys that is one of the most scariest dudes in the octagon, and as an underdog, I'll probably bet on him as an underdog against almost anybody. Next up, we got the main card. I'm going with Bo Nickel. I think Bo Nickel gets it done by submission in round 1. I have some parlays with Bo Nickel, just minus 1600, but then also Bo Nickel by submission, minus 145. That's one of my favorite bets of the night, Bo Nickel by submission. Charles Oliveira is probably my favorite underdog play. I just think Charles Oliveira is a plus 175 underdog. Oliveira is a guy that can beat Islam. He's one of the few guys that I see that is capable of winning the belt in the 155 weight class. So I love Oliveira there as an underdog. I think that's good value. Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway. Real quick, just to go over the first, or the main event and co-main event. I like Wei Li and I like Pereira. I like Pereira because of his resume and who he's beat. He's beat some of the top guys. He knocked out Yuri Prochazka. He's knocked out Izzy. And Jamal Hill just hasn't fought that level of opponent yet. And Pereira at 205 I think Pereira at 205 is probably like him and Islam, I guess, would be the champs that I feel like could go on fucking a title defense streak. Like, he's my most confident champ to defend that belt. Jamal Hill rushed back after tearing his Achilles. Of course, he got like some of the best rehab at the UFC Performance Institute, but I still think when you tear your Achilles, it's going to take longer than 8 months. And when you're getting into a cage fight with Alex Pereira with an Achilles that's probably only like 80 or 90%, Pereira is my favorite pick of the night at minus 135. So Bo Nickel by submission, Pereira to win. And then in the BMF championship fight, I think Holloway could get the finish just because I think Gaethje could gas out round 5, round 4. So I have a couple plays where I have Max Holloway to win by finish in round 4 and round 5. So if he finishes Gaethje in round 4 and 5, I'll be absolutely ecstatic. I think Gaethje should win that fight, but I'm going for the long shot, and I'm taking Holloway to win in round 4 or round 5. And I have a shitload of parlays on this, guys. It's gonna be a ton of fun. I'm in Vegas for the event. I've got my crypto.com shirt. I'll show you guys the back, Sean Strickland shirt. Look at that, man. Let's go. It's gonna be so much fun out here. I think I've bet I may have bet around 20,000 bucks total, maybe a little over 20. Just a bunch of fucking parlays, just having fun out here. It's UFC 300, getting the opportunity to go out there. It's just epic, and take my friends and family out here too. It's like, it's crazy that I get to do this. I dreamt of doing this for a living for years, and now we're in Vegas, and I'm 30 years old. I've probably dreamt of doing this since I was about 23. So really it's only been like a 7-year process, and to get to this point, I'm super grateful and just fucking pumped, man, that we live in a world where we can, do this for a living and make a shitload of money doing this. But if you look back here, T-Mobile Arena, I just realized It's crazy, man. Fuck. Awesome view. Life is good. I'm grateful you guys are here. Thanks for supporting the channel. Good luck with all your bets. And if you guys want screenshots of all my actual bets, just go to winnable.com/SBE. I'll be posting them there for free. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace.